Have you ever wondered why some men seem to effortlessly attract women while you struggle to even get a response to your messages? The answer isn't in their looks or their bank account, but in something much more powerful that you can develop starting today. What you're about to discover will completely transform how women perceive you. Women can sense when a man is operating from a place of inner power, and that energy is irresistibly magnetic. This isn't about superficial techniques or cheap tricks. It's about a profound transformation in how you relate to yourself and the world. Neil Strauss discovered this after years of studying the best seducers. True magnetism emerges when you stop chasing and become the magnet. Most men make the same fatal mistake over and over again. They give away their power from the first moment. They react impulsively, make themselves too available, and reveal all their cards immediately. Sound familiar? If you want to become truly magnetic to women, you need to understand that it all begins with mastering your own inner world. If you're tired of being ignored, rejected, or stuck in the dreaded friend zone, now is the time to make a radical change. Subscribe right now, hit the notification bell, and share this video with that friend who you know desperately needs it. Because what you'll learn today won't just change how you interact with women, it will elevate every aspect of your life. Every principle I'm about to share with you has been tested and proven by thousands of men who have gone from invisible to irresistible. Are you ready to become one of them? Let's begin. The first principle to becoming magnetic is mastering the art of non-reaction. Women are constantly evaluating your emotional stability, even if they're not conscious of it. When you react impulsively to every comment, every test, or every unexpected situation, you're communicating that you're easily manipulated. Neil Strauss explains it perfectly. The person who needs the other the least has the power in the relationship. When a woman sees that nothing she does or says can destabilize you, she immediately perceives you as someone of higher value. Think about it. What's more attractive? A man who gets upset when she takes too long to respond to a message, or one who maintains his center no matter what? Imagine this situation. You're on a date and she makes a comment about your height, your job, or even mentions another guy to see how you react. Most men fall right into the trap, getting defensive, trying to justify themselves, or worse, showing jealousy. In that precise moment, they've given away all their power. But you're going to do something different. The next time you feel that impulse to react, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, does this really deserve my energy? Because almost always the answer is no. Instead of reacting, observe. Keep your expression calm, your posture relaxed but firm, and respond from a place of inner calm. Here's a practical exercise you can implement today. The next time you feel a strong emotional reaction to something a woman says or does, mentally count to 5 before responding. Observe how your body feels, notice the tension, the urgency to speak, and then consciously choose not to fall into that pattern. Over time, those 5 seconds will become a new way of being. Repeat this phrase each morning. Nothing external has the power to destabilize me. I choose my reactions. This mantra, though simple, will gradually reprogram your mind to stay calm in situations that used to upset you. What happens when you master non-reaction is fascinating. Women begin to see you differently. Some will try to provoke you more strongly. Others will be intrigued by your unshakable calm. But all of them, without exception, will feel a deeper level of respect for you. Because a man who cannot be emotionally manipulated is a man who has control of his life. And that, my friend, is incredibly attractive. Have you ever wondered why women seem to chase precisely the men who chase them the least? It's not a coincidence, it's basic psychology. And that's what we'll talk about in the next point. The second principle to becoming magnetic is mastering the art of detachment. There's a fascinating paradox in attraction. The more you cling to someone, the less they want you. The more you demonstrate that you can walk away in peace, the more they want to keep you. Neil Strauss calls it the scarcity principle. What is difficult to obtain is perceived as more valuable. Most men make the mistake of showing too much interest too soon. They become excessively available, respond instantly, cancel plans for her, and basically communicate, "I have nothing better to do." Think about the women you've felt most attracted to in your life. Isn't it true that they were precisely the ones you weren't completely sure were into you? That uncertainty, that space for doubt, created a magnetic desire in you. Women function exactly the same way. The problem is that we've been told a false story. Movies, music, even our parents have taught us that to win someone over, you must chase them, constantly demonstrate your interest, always be available. But the reality is that this strategy kills attraction. As Neil Strauss says, desire isn't born from certainty, but from uncertainty. Does this mean you should play mind games or be indifferent? Absolutely not. It's about having a full life that doesn't depend on the validation or attention of a specific woman. It's about valuing your time, your passions, and your priorities enough not to abandon them for someone you just met. Here's an exercise that can completely transform your dynamic with women. Make a list of all the things you've put aside to pursue romantic relationships. Did you abandon that hobby you were passionate about? Did you stop seeing your friends? Are you constantly postponing your personal goals? Now commit to recovering at least 2 of those activities this week. When you start living a life that excites you, that fulfills you, that challenges you, you automatically become more attractive. You no longer need to chase because your energy naturally attracts. And here's the key. When a woman feels she's adding value to an already amazing life, rather than filling a void, her desire for you multiplies. Repeat this phrase when you feel the need to chase. What is meant for me will flow to me without forcing it. My peace of mind is more valuable than any outcome. If you really want to test the power of detachment, try this experiment. The next time you meet someone you're interested in, give yourself permission to be the first to walk away. After a positive encounter, be the one who says, "You have to go." After a good message conversation, be the one who pauses the exchange. Not out of manipulation, but because you genuinely value your time and energy. The results will surprise you. Suddenly, women will start chasing you. They'll message you first. They'll wonder why you're not as hooked as other men. And that curiosity will transform into attraction. The true power of detachment isn't in making others chase you, but in the freedom you feel when your happiness no longer depends on anyone else. It's a completely different way of relating, where you have control of your value and your energy. And this brings us to the third principle, which will amplify your magnetism to levels you never thought possible. Have you noticed that the most attractive people are rarely the ones who talk the most? There's a profound reason for this, and it has to do with our third principle, the power of mystery and silence. In a world where everyone shares absolutely everything about their lives, where overcommunication is the norm, someone who knows how to maintain a certain mystery automatically stands out. Neil Strauss observed this pattern in The Most Effective Seducers. It's not what you say that makes you interesting, but what you choose not to say. Think about typical conversations between a man and a woman who have just met. He, eager to impress, tells his whole life story. His achievements, his plans, his thoughts. Basically, he puts all his cards on the table immediately. By the time the conversation ends, there's nothing left to discover. No mystery, no intrigue. Women are naturally curious. They love discovering things gradually, as if they're solving a fascinating puzzle. When you reveal everything immediately, you rob them of that pleasure of discovery. Here's a practical exercise. In your next interaction with a woman you're interested in, make the conscious effort to speak 30% less than usual. Instead of filling every silence, allow yourself to observe. Ask genuine questions and really listen. Don't jump to tell your similar story as soon as she finishes hers. Give her space to wonder what you're thinking. Neil Strauss recommends what he calls the iceberg technique, showing only 10% of who you really are in the first encounters, letting the remaining 90% be discovered gradually over time. This doesn't mean being false or pretending to be someone you're not. It means understanding that you don't have to reveal everything immediately. Silence is also an incredibly powerful tool in communication. When most men receive a personal question or a provocative comment, they feel the need to respond immediately. But when you learn to use strategic pauses, to take a moment before responding, you create an aura of consideration and depth. Practice this. The next time someone asks you a personal question, take 3 seconds before answering. Maintain eye contact, but don't rush to fill the silence. Those 3 seconds might seem like an eternity at first, but they communicate that you're someone who thinks before speaking, who isn't desperate to please or impress. Another dimension of mystery is controlling the information you share on social media. In the digital era, many men make the mistake of documenting every aspect of their lives online. By the time they have a date, the woman already knows everything about them. There's nothing new to discover, no surprising story to hear in person. Repeat this mantra. My life is rich and complex. I don't need to validate it by sharing everything. What isn't said creates more impact than what is said. The result of mastering the art of silence and mystery is magnetic. Women will start projecting positive qualities onto you, filling in the blanks with their own fantasies. They'll feel intrigued, want to know more, want to figure out who you really are. And that desire for discovery is one of the most powerful components of attraction. Have you noticed how some people seem to enter a room and automatically everyone wants their approval? It's not a coincidence. It's the direct result of our 4th principle, and that's what we'll talk about next. The 4th principle to becoming magnetic is perhaps the most transformative of all, becoming the center of your own universe. Neil Strauss explained it perfectly. Attraction isn't a choice. It's a response to perceived value. And nothing communicates value more clearly than a man who prioritizes himself. Most men live in a constant state of seeking external approval. They modify their behavior, their opinions, even their goals based on what they think will make them more attractive to women. But ironically, this very behavior kills attraction at its root. Women aren't attracted to men who put them on a pedestal. They're attracted to men who have a life so full, so exciting, and so valuable that the woman wants to be part of it, not be the center of it. Imagine 2 scenarios. In the first, you meet a woman and automatically reorganize your entire schedule to accommodate hers. You cancel plans with friends, postpone important projects, and basically communicate that she is now your #1 priority. In the second scenario, you maintain your commitments, your routines that make you happy, and make space for her in your life without dismantling what you've already built. Which do you think will generate more attraction? The answer is obvious, yet most men continue falling into the first trap. Here's a revolutionary exercise. For an entire week, act as if you're the most important person in every room you enter. Not from arrogance, but from an inner certainty of your own value. Keep your posture upright, your eye contact firm but relaxed, and make decisions based on what you really want, not what you think will please others. If you're in a restaurant and the server brings you something different from what you ordered, politely but firmly ask them to change it, instead of adapting to avoid causing problems. If you're in a group conversation and have a different opinion, express it with confidence, instead of nodding to fit in. Neil Strauss discovered that the most magnetic men aren't the most physically attractive, but those who act as if they deserve to be exactly where they are. They have what he calls royal presence, the ability to occupy space without apologizing for it. Repeat this affirmation every morning in front of the mirror. I am the prize. My time, my energy, and my attention are valuable. I only share them with those who deserve them. A crucial part of becoming the center of your universe is establishing clear boundaries and maintaining them. If a woman treats you with disrespect, cancels plans at the last minute, or plays with your emotions, you must be willing to walk away, not as a manipulative tactic, but as a genuine expression of self-love. Have you noticed how women seem to have a radar for detecting when a man has options and when he's desperate? This is because your behavior subtly changes depending on your mindset. When you know you have value, when you know there's abundance in the world, you naturally behave in a more relaxed, more confident, and less needy way. Here's a truth that few men understand. Women don't want to be your source of happiness. They don't want that responsibility. They want to be a complement to a life that's already satisfying. Neediness, that sense of desperate need, is the #1 killer of attraction. Another fundamental aspect of prioritizing yourself is taking care of yourself at all levels. Your physical health, your mental well-being, your intellectual growth, your finances. This isn't vanity, it's self-respect. And that self-respect directly translates into magnetism. When you demonstrate through your actions, not your words, that you value yourself enough to invest in yourself, you're subliminally communicating that you're a high-value man. And women always gravitate toward high-value men. It's simply their biological nature. What happens when you become the center of your universe is transformative. Rejection no longer affects you the same way. You no longer fear losing anyone because you know your value doesn't depend on another person. This freedom, this emotional independence, is paradoxically what makes women want to be with you, because we all want to be close to someone who doesn't desperately need us, but consciously chooses us. This mindset shift is probably the hardest to implement because it goes against everything we've been taught about romance. We've been told we should chase, conquer, constantly demonstrate our interest. But the truth is that attraction doesn't work that way. It works through perceived value, and nothing communicates value more clearly than a man who values himself above all. And when you combine these 4 principles, mastering non-reaction, practicing detachment, cultivating mystery, and becoming the center of your universe, something magical happens. Your presence changes. The way the world perceives you changes. And more specifically, the way women respond to you changes radically. You're no longer the man who chases, who begs for attention, or who modifies his behavior to please. You become the man who naturally attracts, effortlessly, simply by being who you are from a place of inner power. This magnetism isn't limited just to romantic relationships. It affects all your interactions. Your friendships become deeper and more authentic. Your professional relationships transform. Even strangers start treating you with more respect, because the energy you project determines the energy you attract. Neil Strauss describes it as reaching a state of quiet power. You don't need to speak loudly, intimidate, or dominate to be respected. Your mere presence, rooted in these 4 principles, communicates everything you need to communicate. And here's the most interesting part. As you implement these principles, your definition of success with women begins to change. It's no longer about conquering or accumulating experiences. It's about genuinely connecting from a place of abundance and self-knowledge. Superficial interactions lose their appeal, and you begin to value deeper, more meaningful connections. This is the best-kept secret of truly magnetic men. They don't seek to impress every woman they meet. They're selective. They know what they want, and more importantly, what they don't want. This selectivity, this willingness to say no to what doesn't resonate with you, is perhaps the most attractive quality of all. So why does all this work? For the simple reason that most men operate from the opposite pole. Most react impulsively, cling desperately, talk too much trying to impress, and put women on a pedestal. When you do the opposite, you automatically stand out. You become that 1% that women notice, remember, and desire. And the best part is that these principles don't require you to change your physical appearance, earn more money, or develop extraordinary skills. They only require a change in mindset, a different way of relating to yourself and the world. It's an internal change that has powerful external manifestations. If you really want to test the effectiveness of these principles, commit to implementing them for 30 days. Not halfway, not just when it's convenient, but consistently. Observe how your interactions change, how the energy you project transforms, and consequently, how women respond to you. For those who are ready to take that step, to transform their love life from its root, I invite you to comment below. I choose to become magnetic starting today. This simple statement, this public commitment, can be the first step toward a new reality. If this video has provided value to you, share it with that friend who you know needs it. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the upcoming videos where we'll dive deeper into these principles and explore new dimensions of personal magnetism. Remember, it's not about techniques, lines, or tricks. It's about an inner transformation that fundamentally changes how you perceive yourself and, consequently, how the world perceives you. And when you master these 4 principles, you don't just become magnetic to women, you become magnetic to everything you wish to attract into your life. Because when you stop reacting, practice detachment, cultivate mystery, and become the center of your own universe, you don't just change your love life, you change your entire life.